so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ankita, for the warm welcome, and thank you, Murli. Now I see I have close to how many people out here? 31, and I would like to make this a bit interactive because I'm talking on a subject which is uh, extremely personal matter. So few people will look at networking as a jugaad, and I've found people asking the question, don't you think networking is more like uh, being a friend on the sly, or don't you think it is you're doing this because you want an outcome, and why would networking be so important? So before I proceed, I would like to tell you all that make it interactive. And how can we make it interactive in a Zoom environment? I would love to see your chats. So as I go on talking, as I know all of you have been muted, but I would love to see your chats, and I would love to see what all are the questions that is going on in your mind, so that we don't make it a monologue, and it is more like I'm able to incorporate and respond to people as and when I'm talking. I hope I have everybody's concurrence on that. I can have a few messages on the chat, and I'll understand all of you have heard me. Great. So Murli's responded. Yes, Sapna, Swati, Harshit. Great. Now, let me start with saying is a lot of people ask, and I've spoken about this topic in multiple platforms, and I've seen people saying, I'm doing my work. Why do I need to network? People will realize the kind of work that I'm doing, and they will call for me. However, networking helps you to get that call ahead of everybody else. Now, let me tell you, I have a position open in my department. Whom will I call? The one to whom I have the highest mind recall and I'm comfortable talking to, comfortable and trusting, or would I go out and look into the market and get somebody from outside? What would be my or your most comfortable moment? And I would choose me. Okay, I know this person's worked with me before or has kept in touch, even though we had worked in two organizations past, is high on my mind recall. So if I have to hire somebody, or I have to refer someone to somebody, then you have to be in the highest mind recall for you to get referred, or for you to crack that deal, or for you to get that customer. So it is extremely important. So that makes networking extremely important. It is about creating your social framework or your social fabric in a manner that you are at a top of the mind recall for anybody in your craft or in your area. I will share a personal experience of mine. This was 2008, and I had scaled up Barclays Bank from like zero. I was the second employee. Me and my retail banking director. I was the second employee, and from there we had taken up the bank, the retail uh, aspect of the bank, from two of us to 1,500. And there came a time that Barclays was going through a very bad time, and we had to retrench people. We had to let go of people. Not a very good time for us personally, but the 1,500 became 400, ultimately 300. And I was not very comfortable. I said, this is not what I had signed up for. My retail banking director left and he joined DBS. I kept in touch with him, be it wishing him on his birthday, and I'll keep giving a lot of personal instances so that maybe it becomes easier for people to understand as to networking is not always about getting a gain out of it, but just being in touch. The otherwise I'm extremely extrovert and I like talking to people. That's a different aspect of me. But even if you don't like talking to people, you're more introvertish, it will never hurt you to be in touch with people. So I would wish him on his birthday. I would keep in touch. I would, if there's a news article that I came by which is relevant to the banking sector, and I felt it's a good article, I would forward it. So it was my way of just letting him know that I'm around. And when DBS was moving from becoming a representative office to a full-fledged bank, guess what? Who got a call to build it? I got a call, and I met the CEO. I met the international head of HR, the Indian head of HR, and because it carried a reference, I can safely say that it was far easier for me to get the job because I had past track record of good work, I had high mind recall, and I had people inside the organization who were singing my praises even before I entered the organization. So, who had more leverage? A candidate who just walked in through the door, whom you have not seen in the past, versus somebody whom you know, of course, versus somebody whom you know. Now, not taking away from the fact that if I had not done good work, he wouldn't have obviously referred me and my networking would have fallen or flat. But I'm saying is that good work being the basic premise, and suppose all things remaining the same, networking or being in touch or creating a social atmosphere, or people who are socially around you will only help you get that extra edge. So that is something that I wanted to start with. Is there any question on the chat bot? If there's any question, I'm happy to, before I get further, I'm happy to respond. Okay, no questions. Okay, great. So I'll just share a screen, and okay. So can you all see this screen?
Yeah, Pia, we can see it.
Okay, great. So I have, before I go into the next steps, I have two self-reflection questions that I want you all to answer, and I would like to see it in your chats. I don't want you all to make it public because these are self-reflection questions, but this is something I want you all to think about. So the first question that I have for all of you is, what are your medium-term career objectives? And what would you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Okay, now that it can be anything. Like I'm sure you all of you have a career objective, and where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? And then think about who all in your personal network or your professional network can make it happen for you. So, do you have anyone in your personal network or professional network who can make it happen for you, or you don't have? What is it? What is it? If you look, how many people will, like, we know these are COVID times, these are very difficult times, people are losing their jobs, but you are out there standing and say, hey, you know what, I've lost a job, and somebody saying, doesn't matter, I really think you're really good, let me just hire you. COVID and all that apart. I really want you all to spend those 2-3 minutes to think, and I would like to see your responses on the chat. You can reply privately also, but I would like to see how many of you really have somebody who can vouch for you. Approach people at workplace, and I will cover that. I will cover that. And yes, keep your questions coming. It's easier for me to then understand. Uh, Suppose you want to, One of the things that about networking is, a lot of times what we think is that, how do I ask this question? And this is somebody who's asked me something personally, and I'm responding because, without taking the name, because it's something that concerns everyone. A lot of time we know somebody else has done something, and we know somebody else has the answer to a question that we're looking for, and we often think as to, will they help us? But let me tell you one thing that I've learned in my life: if you're asking for help, people help you. So what is more important is that you have to find those people. You have to just find the courage to just walk up and ask the question, and that can be a complete stranger. It really doesn't matter. It can be a complete stranger, but you all you need to go is ask, approach, and just go ahead. One of the questions that came was, how do I approach my co-workers? So one of the things that I've always done, and I had not done with an intention to network, to be very frank, but later I realized that it is a way to network as well. I was always deeply interested in the personal and in the holistic existence of my people. So if I have a friend, I would know everything about the friend. If I have a colleague in office whom I'm working with, I would know everything about that colleague. So and a lot of time it takes that extra bit. Sometimes we're so swamped with work, we don't have time even for our own self. But this is something that you have to do religiously, howsoever busy you are. 30% of your time in the week should go into genuinely and honestly, not it is not about doing an exercise for the sake of it, but genuinely and honestly investing in other people. Take genuine interest in what others are doing. How can you help them? How can you be of use to them? So what is more important about networking is that you have to be first a giver. And here I would like to introduce a principle, which is called the principle of charity. Now, what is principle of charity? In this world, and in our life, often what happens is that if somebody is not nice to us, or somebody is or there is a misunderstanding, and we often feel that this particular person is not nice, or I don't want to engage further, or let's cut this relationship out, or I won't go back to this person ever again. So so at that point in time, what I try and do, and this I picked up from one of the books and it has always helped me, is to invest in something called the principle of charity. So if there's anything that's gone wrong, or someone's not been nice to me, or something's not gone nice, I would always give that benefit of doubt. I would always say, okay, let it be, move on, because it will not hurt us ever. It will never ever hurt us. It will only ensure that we are attracting more and more positive vibe, and that will reflect in the kind of people you will attract, the kind of responses you will get, and you would see that people are coming up themselves and trying to help you. So one of the things that is important in networking is being honest, be genuine about your feelings. If I really want to just network with somebody and I don't know that person, but I really think that this person is doing a fantastic job, and I really want to know more about it, I would write so. I would, if I'm sending a LinkedIn invite, or I'm sending a mail, or I'm sending a WhatsApp, I've got hold of the number, I would say, hey, I saw your profile. It looks amazing. The kind of work that you're doing really interests me. Could we talk sometime, and could you take me through, because this is an immense area of interest for me. And more often than not, I receive a positive response. They give time. I'm able to learn a lot more, and then I don't lose the connect. I never lose connect. If I've made a connection, I will never ever lose that connection. I may not talk to the person over and over again. I may not, connect with him or her every day. But in special times like COVID, I will touch base with them. And I would not do a mass message. I would get in touch. I would understand what the person is currently doing. I would show a genuine interest, and then I would connect. So finding the time to be around people in their times of need is extremely important. And networking is not just about connecting on LinkedIn. I get a lot of connections on LinkedIn, and but a few of them are actually able to make it work. How? Because two three things you have to remember when you are connecting on LinkedIn as a network or any other platform that you all are using, is that you've got very small window of attention from the user. So suppose you want to write to, say, the CEO of Google, and you want the CEO of Google to read your invite and respond to you. Now you have to do something that catches the attention. You have to upfront state as to what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do, and why do you think it makes sense to have you in that role or in that job. And you will see things will progress, and it has worked wonderfully for me. Some of the things that I've cracked, I've just done it myself. Some of the I wanted some mentoring advice from somebody really senior in the industry. I wrote to the person, and I got a response, and I did spend time. And I got invited to a personal session when she was in India, and I attended and spent some personal time. And that was really good. In fact, when I did my NCR MBA, one of the things that we had to do was to go and interview business leaders. Now, these business leaders didn't know us. You have to write to them, you have to make a compelling case for them to spend time with you. And you use all types of reference, network, pull a string here and there to see if the best brains in the country can speak to you. So that's where networking in that sense becomes extremely important. One of the questions that I want to ask to the group is that imagine you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you need some help. Could you tell me how many people in your network will you be able to call up? And not only just call, they would be standing in front of your door. Can I have some quick chats which tells me, just, is it 0, is it 0 to 3, is it 1 to 3, or is it 5 to 7? What is the number? And don't include family, because often than not, our families are not around. So I want to understand how many in your friend circle or in your network you call up at 3 o'clock and they would be standing in front of your door. Okay. I must say the ones who've responded saying 6 to 7, anybody who's responded saying more than 5, I would say kudos to all of you. Anybody who's given more than 5, kudos to you, because that's a extremely good number. That's an extremely good number. But the ones who've given responses, say 1 or 0 to 3 or something which is lower, I would really urge you all to, I need more responses, guys. I don't think everybody's responded. I would want you all to just go back, reflect, and say, who are my 3 aim friends? Who are these people whom I can say, I need a lakh of rupees at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to your ATM, withdraw the money, come and stand on my door. I really need it. And if people can do that, if you have people who are willing to do that for you and you are willing to do it for them, then you've got a strong network. It clearly is a sign of the fact that you have a good network. And I'm really happy to see a lot of you saying 6 to 7, 3 to 5. uh, yeah, those are good numbers. Somebody's written 12, and that's a wonderful number. That's a wonderful number. So the idea is to constantly keep on asking yourself as to how many people can I call, and how many people will respond, and to whom, how many people will I respond. It's also, it's a very powerful tool. Now let's understand, how do you build a network? If I were to ask you, how is your network? So for example, are they all your network, all from your campuses? Maybe some of you are MBAs, some of you maybe some of you maybe working in a certain organization, and hence you meet people every day, and hence they're a part of your network. Or what is your network like? Is it homogeneous, or is it heterogeneous? What's the kind of network? Is it diverse, or is it um, similar? The word that I've used is it densely connected, which means, is it homogeneous? Is it the same kind of people you're meeting, or is it diverse? What is it? Okay, somebody's written, I am an extrovert, but I am, one second, presentation mode, one second. Okay, somebody's written one. I missed that question. I'm an extrovert, but I'm poor in making network. I mean, it will be really difficult for me to approach my seniors for a job or any other need. I want to break that zone. Now, this is something which is a very important question that somebody's asked me. That you are an extrovert, but you think that your work should be enough, and that and that I'm not able to go and ask for it. And trust me, even I had the same issue. I used to think, how can I go and ask for something, or how can I go and say that I've done this work. But one of the things that I've learned in my career along the way is that if you can't market yourself, then you cannot market anything else. You will have to learn, and this is difficult. It sometimes comes, sometimes maybe our self-esteem comes in the way of doing it, to say, hey, you know what, I can't go and ask anything for myself. But always remember this. One of my bosses taught me that the crying baby gets more milk. Always remember this. And I'm being extremely honest. And if you have two customers, a nagging customer, let's take the attention away from us, let's take it to a customer. You have two customers. One is a nagging customer who keeps asking for freebies, keep asking for extra rates. And then that customers, but the customer is a good customer, it's a long term customer, and you want the customer. And there is a customer who trusts you, and believes that whatever you're giving is the best that you could give. Now you have an issue at hand with this customer asking for a bit more. Maybe, I'm not saying all of you will do it, maybe a bit more will go to this customer, because just to keep him at bay, or just to keep him or her at bay, just to ensure that this doesn't become an issue. And that same thing applies to us in our careers. If we do not ask, then we do not get. And it is difficult. There is no shortcut to it, to say, what, practice 4 times deep breathing and go and this will happen. I'm not going to give you any of those. It is tough. But it is something, if I have to do something which I'm not comfortable with doing, and I know that, okay, this is against going and asking something for myself, should I not, and all of that, I stand in front of the mirror, and I tell myself, you deserve every bit of it. And if you can't represent yourself, then you won't be able to do a good job of representing your organization. So go represent yourself. So it has to, you have to work a lot. It is not easy. It will start with sometimes negotiating time. It need not always be negotiating money or a raise or a promotion. Sometimes it's just about negotiating time as to what time can I step into office, or negotiating taking the dream holiday and you're going to be away for 15 days, or just going and asking, saying that, what makes you what makes me better or not so better than the rest, and how can I reach where I want to be. Remember the first question that I asked you, that what are your 3 to 5 years career goals? Now this ties into that. If you're clear as to where you want to be, what your career goals are, then you will do everything to ensure that your career progresses in that manner. So, for example, I knew that by such and such time, I should be head of HR. Because if I don't make it by this time as a head of HR, then I have lost the plot. And when I started my career, I was very clear that way back in 2004, banking was not such a fancy job. But I knew that banks are going to be the future. So it was a choice I made. No, I don't want to be in manufacturing. I will be in banking. Okay, great. Choice made. Then I entered the industry. Then I said, okay, if I want to be in banking, then what is my next best opportunity? I got through eServe. eServe is a BPO, captive BPO of Citibank. It did not take me to the bank, but it took me closer to it. Because I worked in eServe, I got through Barclays. Because I worked in Barclays, I got through DBS. And because both Barclays and DBS were startups, when RBL and erstwhile Ratnakar Bank Limited was starting up, there were only a few people in the market who had startup experience, and I was one of them. So and let me also tell you, when I got a job from Barclays, I had a job from another very big conglomerate, extremely big conglomerate. And as poetic as it gets, I leave the by with an offer letter from Barclays, and this other organization call comes, extremely established. Barclays, we were setting up our shop. I was the second member, like I told you. There was nothing. It was a clean slate. And the other organization was paying me more, and it was far stable. And this was way back in 2006. And I had a choice to make: lower salary, more work, difficult timelines, cushy job, bigger brand name, and a set career. And I told myself that money I will earn. That doesn't matter. If I'm good, people will pay me money. Let me put money out of the way. I told myself, not every other day does a bank set up its shop in India. Little knowing that a, a bank opening will become the norm of the day in the country. I didn't know that way back in 2006. So the only thing that I did, the only benchmark that I had for myself was that not every day does a bank open up in India. I'm getting an opportunity to be able to set up a bank. It's going to be an enriching experience. And this is what I want to learn. And that changed the course of my career. So sometimes it is also about taking the right decision, not motivated by what's in it for me in terms of money and other financials. I've never used money I've never taken up a job because the money was good. In fact, I've always declined jobs where the money was good, unfortunately for me. Even my first job I had got through Pepsi. I didn't take up Pepsi. I took up a smaller NBFC at half the salary. Um, not not because I hailed from a family that did not need the money, or that I was born with a silver spoon. Not because of that, but because I was very clear about where I want to be in my career. And I had envisioned it in a certain way. I was willing to put in the hard work, and it happened. So a lot of things we have to do, tying it back to the question, a lot of things we have to do which we are uncomfortable doing. When I took up the job in Barclays, we used to work till 2 o'clock in the night. It was not easy to set up a 1,500 people franchise in 6 months. We would be there in office till 2 o'clock. I would reach home at 3:30. I would hardly sleep for 2-3 hours, get up in the morning 7. By 7:38 I would be in office again, and that I did regularly, including weekends. So the question sometimes is that what is it that you want? And that is why I put up that question upfront. What is my goal? And if I know my goal, then I'll do exactly that takes me towards it. And then I will network. Then I'll know whom to connect with on LinkedIn. Then I'll know what to write to the person I'm connecting with. And this is something that I would also like to tell you all. I receive a lot of requests on LinkedIn, and then people message me, "Hi." I principle of charity is what I employ. Then I would reply back saying, "Hi, how are you?" I say, "I'm fine, thank you. Is there anything you want to tell me? Let me know." Yes. So, and then I would say, "Yeah, tell me." So please understand, if you're networking with somebody and you're wanting a job, or say you're wanting to interview somebody, or you're wanting to connect somebody, they have very limited time. They do not have all the time in the world. And LinkedIn, which is your networking for professionals, professional networking, you are not doing a personal networking. So don't spend your time thinking, "I will write a hi and people will respond." Just come to the point, write what you have to, give a clear, upfront as to why you're connecting with somebody, and give a response as to what are you looking out of this connection. That will lead you with that will make you sound far more genuine, authentic, honest, and people will appreciate that far more. In fact, only yesterday somebody wrote to me, they've lost a job. I'll be very honest with you, Pia, if people like you don't help me, who will help? I said, "Yeah, point taken, send me a CV, let me see what best I can do." I've sent it in my network, and we're trying to get this person a job. Now, if he would have done hi, hello with me, he would have lost my attention. So if you want something, come to the point, don't waste people's time. Just be genuine about the fact that you're wanting something. And if coming back to somebody who asked me the question that I'm extrovert but I don't know how to ask, just start with small things. Also, what will help to do is to just now it's difficult, but otherwise in normal times, is the catching up for coffee. I did that with everybody. I would invite people for a scheduled coffee meet, where I would try and understand my people, where I would try to understand the network with which I'm working. It's important to know who my co-workers are, not only just HR. In fact, I invested more time in knowing my business people than I invested. I'm guilty of not knowing my HR people as well as I know my business people. And let me also tell you, it is a two-way street. When I'm inviting somebody to come and spend that half an hour to understand each other better, there are few people who make the time, there are few people who don't. And trust me, in times like this, the ones who made the time are clearly at an advantageous position than the ones who didn't. Because I know them far better to be even able to talk about them to somebody. And if I don't know you, you did not spend the time, you did not invest the time in reciprocating the whole thing about knowing each other, then it is very difficult for me to also represent you anywhere, because then you're just any other black and white CV. I don't know the person behind that CV. So networking is often very important to also understand and to be understood. So it is a two-way kind of a model. I will tell you very recently, and I head HR for SMEcorner, and I was working with IDFC first before I moved into SMEcorner, and the founder and my MD CEO is the ex-MD CEO of Barclays. Now, the decision that I had taken, way back in 2006, that not every other day that a bank sets up its shop. That was my MD CEO. While I left Barclays, I was always in touch with him on Instagram, on LinkedIn. If I've written an article, sharing my article. Then I'd become HR 40 under 40, sharing my success. Then I went to do 1 year executive MBA from INSEAD, and sharing my learnings from INSEAD. All of that, I was always in touch with him. So guess what? When he was looking for a head of HR, whom did he reach out to? Because he already knew that here's somebody who's got experience. Here's somebody who's invested in her furthering her career and spent such a big sum of money in upgrading herself. Apart from having an MBA, she's again upgraded herself and she's gone and done an executive MBA from INSEAD. She's a HR 40 under 40, and I know, so I have told him, so he's come to know. And she ticks all of this, and she's worked with me in Barclays. Though in Barclays, I was like, I was so low in the pecking order. Like an MD, we would all only meet in the lift. So working closely, I've never worked closely with him, but he knew of me. The question therefore is that when you're growing in your career, do people know of you? Know of the work that you're doing? Know of how you're growing in your career? Do you have a point of view which you're writing or mentioning somewhere? Do they know what you stand for? Or are you letting people know what you stand for? So networking is not always about just going and talking and creating a network and just having one more contact in your WhatsApp. Networking is a constant process. It's a constant process whereby you're trying to tell people. People will ask as to why should I give attention to you? There are too many people. There's so many people in the market. Why to you? So what's your value proposition? So there's a question that I have. What's your value proposition? Why should people connect with you? That is something that you have to ask yourself. How are you different from the rest of the crowd? Why did I do an INSEAD MBA, executive MBA at my own cost? I didn't wait for the organization to invest. It's a lot of money. If you go online and find out the cost of doing that MBA, it is a lot of money. But why did I spend that money? Because it gave me a network. It gave me a network of like-minded people. It gave me a network of people who want to do something more with their life than just draw upon that MBA that they had done like 15, 16, 17 years back, and forgotten most parts of what it had taught, and wanted to know something more. Because it also proves to the world that I'm somebody who wants to invest in my own self. For this job, when I was interviewed by the investors, when I was interviewed by the board members, everybody, the first question, one of the biggest board member that we have, his first question was, how was Fontainebleau? Now Fontainebleau is the Paris campus of INSEAD, where we all got where the graduation happened. And that was the first question, and that just helped me break the ice with such a big man. And his first question was, Fontainebleau is too good. We'd gone for a program from our organization. I loved that campus, and then it's exactly the auditorium, this, that, and it just hit it. So what's your value proposition? Why should people look at you? Why should people invest their time in knowing you? So these are few of the questions that I think you all need to ask yourself. Networking is a lot more inside to be able to go outside. So it is not just about going and meeting people. Maybe I should put it like this, that it's first you have to meet yourself and know what you want, know what you can get, what you can't get, and then finally finding the right people and attracting the right people towards yourself. I think that's what networking will be more important. One of the other things that I want to talk about is 1 second. One of the other things that I want to talk about is that there are three types of people in any network. Now, there are the givers, okay, who are always giving, who are saying, okay, fine, how can I make it happen for you? How can I help you? Now, then there are matchers. Now, who are these matchers? These matchers are people who are saying that, who are giving to get, who are saying, okay, if I'm going to give you this, what am I going to get in return? Okay. And then there are takers, who are always taking, who are not in the position, who are not interested in giving anything. You need to understand, how are you coming across to people? Are you a giver? Are you a matcher? Or are you a taker? Once you've analyzed yourself, you don't need to write about this. This is extremely personal. I don't want any of you all to say what you are. You have to understand for yourself. You have to ask yourself this question. My personal recommendation would be a giver. Be a giver. I have had so many times where I've done so much for people and they haven't even turned and looked at me, and I'm okay. I'm just okay. People are looking for job. They've written me 20,000 times. I have got them a job, but once they've got them a job, not a single thank you has come. I'm okay. Be a giver. Because you know what? When you're a giver, then I believe in the law of karma. It all comes back. It all comes back. Maybe not from the same source, but it will come back. So you just build karma in the system. But what is important for you to understand, that when you're giving, people will always look up to you. Whenever there's anybody has a trouble, people will come and ask you. Now we go through these counseling sessions as a part of my high talent program, and in one of the sessions I asked the counselor, did you know anybody, anytime people need help, they reach out to me, otherwise throughout the year they never remembered me. So my counselor told me something very beautiful. He said that, Pia, take it as a blessing, that the moment people are in trouble, they reach out to you. That means the vibe that they get from you, that this is the person who will help me. They might go and party with somebody, they might go and holiday with someone, but when it comes to actually knowing that who will help, they come to you. You should be happy about it. Why are you sad about it? And it changed my perspective, because I was looking at it from a different dimension, to say only when they need, they reach out to me. My counselor put it completely differently. He said, that's great. That's when they really need someone, they know you are the one to go to. So that's the impression you've given them. And from that time on, I really changed my stance. I said, hey, this is good. I should not take this badly. I should take this kindly. Again, linking it back to the principle of charity. To say, just do the Hindi kahavat, the neki kar darya mein dal. Exactly that. It all comes back to those couple of learnings that we've got. So just analyze, what are you? And I think I've got a few chats. I want to read them. Just 1 second. Okay, there's a question that some bosses or seniors are resourceful but arrogant. How to contact them? I have had very difficult bosses in my life. Very difficult. It's not been easy. And today, if I have to really look back, and I would say the difficult bosses actually helped me achieve more than the nicer ones. So if they're resourceful but arrogant, I would say that you have to still find some value. What's your value proposition? I'll go back to the same question. Why should they spend time with you? Find what is it that you bring to the table, hone that up, and try and approach them. When they see value in what you're doing, or what you're saying, or what you're presenting to the table, over a period of time, you will find they will show interest. But it takes back to my same question again. What is your value proposition? Why should somebody invest time in you? Because there's too many people around. So that's what I was trying to say. Networking is more internal. Network is about understanding my own self. As they say that there are three hardest things in this world: diamond, steel, and knowing oneself. So yeah, and if people are resourceful, it's nice to be on their good books, but on the right note, not on the good books on any note. So on the right note. And okay, somebody's asked me, how do you manage family? I don't know in what context is the question. How do I manage family? You have to have an understanding family. Okay, was it easy? No. My Sometimes I really worked through the night. Uh, I traveled. There was a time when I traveled like what, 20 days a month, and there was a time that I lived out of suitcases. Yes, all of those things happened. But I think it's also about sometimes, if people around you know how passionate are you about your work. Like for me, if I'm not working, it's like somebody's taken away my oxygen. I have to work. I have to do something meaningful. I have to feel good about waking up in the morning and trying to do something which I've not done yesterday, or trying to create something. If people around you know how that how passionate are you about it, they will, even if they don't agree initially, it is always, maybe I should take a session on negotiation one day. And you have to negotiate, see, with everybody, with your parents, with your husband, with your in-laws, with everybody. It is an art of negotiation. You give some, you get some. You do something more, and then you get something more. Again, principle of charity: first do, then get. Always remember one thing, always remember, one of the things I see most people I come in touch with personally is that everybody wants to get first. So it's like a bank account, say an emotional bank account. First you invest, and then you get. अब बैंक में पैसे नहीं होंगे तो interest तो मिलेगा नहीं. So same thing with your network, whether be it house or be it office. First you have to give. You have to keep giving, and then you will see that one day it will tickle back at you. And then when it starts, and there is no end to it. So but first give, then get. Don't think about, okay, I'm getting into this new relationship, what will I get out of it? No, what will I give to it? When you will think from that point of view, you will have less pressure on yourself, you will have less pressure on the other person. You will be more happier about it, because there is no expectation of reward, or whatever it is. The reward can be anything. The reward can be like, you're looking beautiful today. You're expecting that. The moment you've started expecting that, somebody's not told you that, you've dressed up so well, and you feel bad about it. Or you've done a fantastic presentation, and then your boss just walks out without praising you. And you were expecting a praise. Oh my God, did not praise me. Everybody told I did a fantastic job. Just get the expectation out of the way, and then the journey is beautiful, because then the journey you are living for yourself. You give a good presentation, you know you've given a good presentation, you're happy about it. That's it. Whatever praises come your way is a bonus. So if you can live like that, you'll be far more calmer. And I have myself, I now work on that philosophy. I wouldn't say it was easy. The transition was difficult, but the transition has been useful. It has helped me. Okay, I have a question. I experience is very generally easy for men to network and a bit challenging for women. What's your opinion? Now, men, why do men have it easy? Because maybe they have those sutta breaks, or maybe they go out for drinks maybe, and I don't drink. So a lot of times I'm there holding a thumbs up in my hand. And yeah, those are time men have an edge. But I've seen something that, if you bring value, you will always, yeah, you won't, maybe may not be remembered for the house parties, or you may not be remembered for the other stuff. But when it comes to doing the work, and which is what matters at the end of the day, even if I didn't get called to a party, but I got called to a job, I would prefer the job over party. So because I added value and I made your life easy at work, and while I didn't drink with you, but I didn't have sutta with you, but I made your Excel PPTs look fantastic, or your Excels look awesome, and your presentation to investors went on really good, and I added so much value to your life, and I get the job. I am better off that way. So I would say, yeah, apparently it seems that men have a better leverage, but I really don't think so. I think work has a better leverage. And always one thing I've always seen, and I would like to say that at the end of the day, somebody may have a shortcut. Okay, somebody is really close to someone, and may have secured something. You dragged the hard way, but somebody's has got a shortcut. But shortcuts won't remain. That's something that is there. Shortcuts won't remain. If somebody's taken a shortcut, it is short-lived. I let me tell you that. So that's something that it doesn't matter when you average out in life. It all falls in the same place. Everybody, everything. Water meets its own balance. So there's not much change there. Okay. So yes, I think that was from my side. I would love to have question answer. Murli, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pia, for such a nice session. I think we can take a question or two more in case people have it. You can use the chat box and put down the questions there.
And I would like to really thank everyone for keeping those questions coming, because it really helps to understand that, okay, what could I answer and how could I help you at this opportunity.
Yeah, there are a few comments.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. The lovely comments, Sonika. Really thank you. What you all can do is that if you have any questions, or if you think that you'd you need some answers, I'm there on LinkedIn. You can connect with me.